Hey guys, today I'm going to teach a problematic from construction management. So, this is PERT analysis from network scheduling. So, what is PERT analysis? PERT analysis is nothing but program, evaluation, and review technique. So, it is one of a method of network scheduling. Another method is CPM, that is critical path method. So I'm going to teach you a problem based on PERT analysis. So before I could go to the problem, I would like to explain on few terms which you need to really understand to continue with the problem. So here it's stated that optimistic time T naught, most likely time Tm, pessimistic time Tp. So what are these three times? It's nothing but the expected duration. It may be in weeks, days or years in three forms. So, what is optimistic time? It's nothing but whatever you have pre-planned to do an activity or to do an object, it must be completed within the pre-planned schedule, or it goes as per the pre-planned schedule. Then it is known as optimistic time. And most likely time is nothing but it comes out of experience and judgment. So like few project managers or senior supervisor, they might have so much of experience in doing site jobs, or practically they have witnessed many things. So by that they will give you a time that is known as most likely time. Pessimistic time is nothing but it's if the project doesn't go according to the planned schedule or by most likely time, maybe due to bad weather or unluckiness the project is being delayed, you have a deviation over the project, then it is known as pessimistic time. Okay, so mostly if you see, pessimistic time will have higher weeks because there is actually a delayed in the work. Okay, so here when you come, here you can come around the word critical path. So what is a critical path in network scheduling? Critical path is nothing but the maximum time you need to complete a project. Okay, so usually during a network scheduling you can see, for example, here is a network. So from activity 1, that is the starting point, till the end point, that is the end of the activity 6. Okay, so to reach from 1 to activity 6, you can reach through various paths here, namely 3 paths, that is 1 2 5 6, then 1 3 5 6, 1 4 6. These are the three paths you can reach the end of the activity or end of the project or end of the network diagram. So which will give you the maximum time for completion of the project, that is known as the critical path. So in this sum you will find out what is the critical path. So I'll tell you in prior, here the critical path will be 1 3 5 4. So like that, critical path is usually denoted with double line. So here it's a basic network diagram which represents these activities with the preceders and successors. Okay, whichever activities come one after one, it's a simple network diagram. The next diagram which I have drawn, it is given with the critical path and even the early time and latest time, that you will know it later. So what next one is variance and standard deviation. These two terms are very interrelated. So variance is denoted by sigma squared and standard deviation is denoted by sigma. So root of variance will give you the standard deviation. Standard deviation usually occurs with pessimistic time. That is, wherever the deviation occurs, wherever there is a delay in the activity, then a standard deviation occurs. Usually a deviation occurs. Standard deviation is you fix upon a deviation. There is a possibility of having such deviations is known as standard deviation. Then earliest time and latest allowable occurrence time. So earliest time is also known for forward calculation, and latest allowable occurrence time is known for backward calculation. So in earliest time you actually add upon the expected time. Okay, you find out the expected time as it's stated over here. you can see expected time TE is equal to T naught plus 4 Tm plus Tp divided by 6. So expected time is usually stated for each activity part, maybe 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 6 like that, and similarly for the others. So what and each activity takes time will be added upon to reach the final activity 6. So that will give upon earliest time. That is very simply you can say it actually add upon the time or weeks, and latest allowable occurrence time, it's backward calculation, and it starts from end of the activity. Earliest time starts from the initial activity and latest allowable time starts from the end of the activity and gets subtracted to get the first activity's time. Okay, and what is float? So when you find float of a network diagram or of the problem given, you usually get zeros on a few activities, which ultimately leads to the critical path. It leads to the critical path. For this sum, the float values of 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 6 will be 0. Then it will lead, it will actually confirm that your problem is correct and whatever you have derived is a correct one. So let's see, PERT analysis problem. Here the problem is given, a project is composed of 7 activities whose time estimates are listed below. So here the activities are given here, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 2 to 5, etc. And the expected duration in weeks. There are 3 forms of time given here, that is optimistic, most likely, pessimistic, T naught, Tm, Tp. The given data are here. Then what they have asked us to construct or determine or draw is project network. Then critical path you have to find out. Next they have asked variance and standard deviation of the critical path. CP is nothing but critical path. Then you have to find out the earliest time and latest allowable occurrence time. Ultimately the float value. First, let us draw the network diagram. So for that, refer the table over here. What's given over here, you can see 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. So the number 1, okay, the event 1 is actually split it up into 3 event, that is 2, 3, 4. So 1 to 2 is one activity, 1 to 3 is another activity, 1 to 4 is another activity. So next when you see 2 to 4, so 2 to 5. So 2 to 5 you draw a line leading, you have to lead the path, okay, you have to represent it by arrows. Remember that. It's fine when you use different colors to specify each and everything, so it can be more attractive and easy to understand when you proceed with the problems over here. So 2 to 5, I'll draw a line, and then if you see it is written 3 to 5, activity 3 to 5. So 3 to 5 means both 2 and 3 leads to a single event 5. Okay, so 2 to 5 and 3 to 5, you have drawn it. Next it is given 4 to 6. So 4 to 6 I am drawing an event, activity, and it is 5 to 6. So again from 5 to 6 I am drawing another activity. I suggest to use a pencil when you make a rough diagram of network scheduling, okay, then you can confirm it with a sketch or pen or color pencil, something like that. So the time I have written is above the line. It's always suggested to write one side way, okay. So all the time, that is optimistic, most likely, pessimistic, that is nothing but T naught, Tm, Tp is represented over here. So for activity 1 to 2 the times are 1, 1, 7. Activity 1 to 3 the times are 1, 4, 7. For activity 1 to 4 it is 2 to 8. Similarly for the other activities. Now we can find the expected time. Usually after finding the expected time we can determine the critical path, variance, standard deviation and all. So it's always suggested, you can of course proceed with the problem after finding the expected time. So the formula for finding the expected time is TE is equal to T naught plus 4 Tm plus Tp divided by 6. So substituting the values from the table given here, for example TE, that is the expected time for activity 1 to 2 is, so let us see the diagram. So it is 117, that is T naught, Tm, Tp. So T naught is 1 plus 4 into T Tm is 1 plus Tp is 7 divided by 6, and I yield with an answer of 2. Similarly, you are going to find the TE for other activities also. So for here, TE for activity 1 to 3, the values of T0, Tm, Tp are 1, 4, 3. So I'm simply substituting the values over here and finding the answers. Okay. So I have found for all the 7 activities over here. Next I'm moving on to the variance. Variance is nothing but sigma square. Sigma square is equal to Tp plus minus T0 divided by 6 the whole square. So similarly, from the diagram I have written the values of Tp and T0. So I'm going to substitute the value for sigma 1 to 2 the square, which is equal to Tp value of activity 1 is 7 and T0 value is 1 divided by 6 the whole square. I found the answer is 1. So for these and all, you can do all mind calculation. It doesn't need a calculator actually. It actually consumes time when you do use a calculator. Okay. So similarly, you have to find the answers for all the 7 activities, that is sigma squared 1 to 3, sigma squared 1 to 4, sigma squared 2 to 5, etc. Okay. Next we are going to find the standard deviation. As I told you before, standard deviation is nothing but root of sigma squared, and sigma squared is nothing but it's a variance. So when you take root of sigma squared, you get the standard deviation, and I have done that in the tabulation directly. You need a neat representation of what you have done the calculation. These all are the calculation part which I have done simply to to explain you guys how to do the calculation. So if I have written the tabulation, you would have not understood. So I have done all the calculations over here. It's not necessary. If you need a clear explanation when you solve the problem, you can do it, or simply you can use a calculator and fill on the table. Okay. So here with the table given in the question, I've added upon 3 tables, that is expected time TE, variance sigma squared, and standard deviation sigma, and I've filled up the answers. Now using this, I'm going to draw critical path. Okay, so before drawing the critical path, let me draw the network diagram again as I have drawn over here. Draw a simple network diagram stating the expected time. So these the expected time is denoted here alone. Okay, in the before diagram I have denoted all the 3 times, but here I am denoting only the expected time alone. For activity 1 to 2, the expected time is 2, so I have represented here. For activity 1 to 3, the expected time is 4, and I have represented over here. For activity 1 to 4, the expected time is 3, and I have represented over here. Similarly, all the expected time is represented over here. So now, as I told you before, for calculating the critical path, or for determining the critical path, I have to find what are the various path available to reach the end activity from the starting activity, that is from the starting event to the ending event. So the 3 paths available over here is 1, 2, 5, 6 the first path, 1, 3, 5, 6 the second path, 1, 4, 6 is the third path. So simply I am going to write the estimated time over here for path 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 6. What is the time given over here? 217, 217. So here the path is 217, and similarly 217. Okay. So similarly for path 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 6, the times are 4, 6, 7. Here I have represented it 4, 6, 7. Okay. Similarly for 1, 4, 6, it is 3, 5. So I am going to simply add upon the estimated time value. 2 plus 1 plus 7 is 10. 4 plus 6 plus 7 is 17. 3 plus 5 is 8. As I told you before, the critical path is estimated only through the maximum duration path. Okay, so whichever path is yielding you the maximum duration, that will create your critical path. Okay, so here the critical path is 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 6, which is equal to 17 weeks. This will be a critical path. Here it is stated maximum weeks forms the critical path, that is 17 weeks. Next we are going to find expected earliest time TE. So this is also known as forward calculation, because you are going to do this calculation from event 1 till event 6. So here TE1, initially when you start an event, there is no time required, so it is 0. Okay, so whenever you start an event, it will be 0. So for any problem, whenever you start an event, it is always 0. So for representing these all that I expected earliest time in the network diagram, I am going to draw a rectangular box with the partition. Okay, so here I am going to write TE and TL. TL I will calculate later. First I am going to show you how I am going to calculate TE value, that is expected earliest time. So draw a rectangular box with two partitions all above each and every event as I have represented here. Okay, so now, so TE1 is always 0 as I said you, because it's the start time of an event. Okay, now TE2, so TE2 is nothing but TE1, that is event 1 plus TE, that is expected time of activity 1 to 2. Okay, so what is the expected time of activity 1 to 2? It is 2. Okay, so 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. Similarly for TE3, so this is the 3 part, TE3, to calculate that, it is actually starting from 1 only, so TE1 plus TE of activity 1 to 3. So TE1 is 0, TE, that is expected value of 1 to 3 is 4. So I am going to substitute 0 plus 4 is equal to 4. Similarly for activity, that is TE4 also. Okay, and for TE5, when you come to TE5, you can see TE5 is yielded in event 5 is the intersection point from event 2 and also event 3. So it is an intermediate for both event 2 and 3. So you get two values. So what value you have to take is the maximum value. So the TE2 plus TE of 2 to 5, this is one path, and TE3 plus TE3 to 5, this is another path. So substitute the value of TE2 you have already found out 2, and TE2 to 5 is it's given, it's 1. Okay, so you get 3, and the TE3 you have already found out, it's 4. So plus 6 is nothing but 3 to 5 activity is earliest time, so 6, so it yields you 10. So whichever is the maximum value, you have to assume that. So I have taken 10 over here. And for event 6, that is over here, here also you can see this is an yield of event 5 and event 4. So you have to take the maximum value from both. Okay, whichever gives you the maximum value you have to take. So that is TE5 plus TE5 to 6, and the other one is TE4 plus TE4 to 6. So which yields you the maximum value is TE5 plus TE5 to 6, that is 17. It gives you 17, that is the maximum value. So I choose 17. So TE6 is 17 weeks. Now always TE1 is equal to TL1. TL is nothing but latest allowable occurrence time. So always TE1 is equal to TL1 and TEN is equal to TLN. So N is nothing but whichever yields you the last activity. Here the last activity is 6, that is event is 6. So TE6 is equal to TL6, that is equal to 17. So before going to find latest allowable occurrence, I will show you how we are going to represent the values over here. So as I told you before, you have drawn the rectangular boxes over here. So whichever time, such as TE1 0, I have represented 0 over here. TE2 is equal to 2. So I have represented 2 over here. TE3 is 4. So I have represented 4 over here. Similarly, I am filling up the box. So TE6, you know, it is 17, and TL also will be 6 as it's stated over here. It will be also 17. So from now we are going to find TL, that is backward calculation. So we know that is we are going to calculate from the last event to the first event. So the last event value is 17, we know it. So the next event TL5. So how we are going to calculate TL5? This point. So that is TL6 minus the expected time 7. So that's what I have stated over here. Check out over here. TL6 is 17 minus TE of 5 to 6, that is expected time of activity 5 to 6 is 7. So I have subtracted the value. So as I told you before, for forward calculation you have to add up the values, and for backward calculation you have to subtract the values, that is the expected time. So 17 minus 7 is 10. And for TL4, so check out over here, what is TL4 over here? So that is TL6 minus TE of activity 4 to 6, that is 17 minus 5. So check it over here, 17 minus 5, 13. Similarly, you have to find for the other two. Now check out this TL1. So TL1, you get this point 1 from the various 3 points, that is from 2, 3, 4. So for this, when you subtract, you have to take the minimum value of the 3 activities. TL2's value is 9 and activity TE1 to 2 is 2. So 9 minus 2 is 7. Similarly, you are going to find for the others. So the minimum value on calculating the 3 is 0. So it should be 0. As I told you before, TE1 is equal to TL1. This is always constant for every problem. It will be 0. And TEN is equal to TLN, that will be equal, here the nth activity is 6, so here the nth activity is earliest time is 17, and thus the latest allowable time also will be 17. Okay, now I am going to tabulate this in the above network diagram. So as I told you, TL value is 0 here, it is 9, 4, 12, 10, 17. Okay. Here I have made a mistake, students. So here the value is actually 12. Okay, it's not 13. So just make a correction over it. Now next one is the last, float calculation. So as I told you before, in float calculation, when you calculate the float, the critical path values will be 0. So here 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 6. These values are 0. Okay, let's check out how to calculate this. So TEIJ is nothing but the estimated time. Okay, so what is the estimated time? These all time. Okay, just rewrite on this table. Then TEI, that is TEIJ, how are you going to, what is I and what is J means? So in this event, I for activity 1 to 2, I value will be 1, J value will be 2. Okay, so for activity 1 to 2, the EIJ value will be, EI will be 1 and EJ will be 2. So LJ will be 2. Okay, so similarly, that is what I and J and all. Okay, don't make much confusions over it. Okay, just representations, it is a few representation which shows it. Okay, so let's check out here. The estimated time you are going to write as in the previous table. And what is TEI means? For activity 1 to 2, I value means first value, that is 1 value. For activity 1 to 3 means TEI value means activity is 1's value, E value, that is earliest time. So what you're going to write all the I value, that is the first number's value, that is the event 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, those earliest time you're going to write over here. So let's check out what is the earliest time for activity 111. It's all 0. So check it over here. So TEI is 0 for all the 3 activities. Next, check it out over here. For 2 to 5, it is 2. So for 2, what is the value? It is 2 alone. So you're writing it as 2. And for 3 to 5, you have to take the 3 value. So for 3, what is the value? 4. So I'm writing it over here, 4. Okay, and for 4 to 6, the 4 value is 3, and for 5 to 6, 5 value is 10. Now you're going to add these two values, that is TIJ plus TEI. So what is the summation of these two? 2 plus 0 is 2, 4 plus 0 is 4, 3 plus 0 is 3, etc. etc. You're going to add and find this tabulation. And now for TLJ value, for the 2 activities, you have to take the TL of the second one. That is, you're going to take the TL value of 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. So what is the TL of second activity? Let's check out over here. It is 9. And for the third activity, 4. Fourth activity is 12. Okay, that is, I mean, for activity 1 to 2, the TLJ value is 9. For activity 1 to 3, the TLJ value is 4. For the activity 1 to 4, the TLJ value is 12. Similarly, for the others, you are going to substitute. Now, the float value is nothing but the subtraction of TLJ minus this value, that is TEIJ plus TEI. Okay, it is I, okay, not J. So 9 minus 7 is, 9 minus 2 is 7. 4 minus 4 is 0. 12 minus 3 is 9. 10 minus 3 is 7, and etc. So here, just check out whichever is giving you the 0 value. This activity, and this activity. Okay. And activity 1 to 3 is 0. 3 to 5 is 0. 5 to 6 is 0. Just check these activities over here. 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 6, which creates the critical path. So the problem solved by us is completely correct. This is the end of PERT analysis. Soon I'll upload the construction management's critical path method, that is networking diagram or critical path method.